Good evening, y'all. Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to another Wednesday evening with our wonderful selves for an episode 14 of Black Women in Business, The Dirty Truth. Y'all, I don't know about you, but the fact that it is midway through December, I'm a little bit like, what's going on? How is everybody doing? It is, y'all, it's the last few weeks of the year. Are you celebrating? Are you hanging out? Or are you having to hustle? We talked about hustle culture and working hard a few episodes back. Make sure you grab the link for the YouTube channel. Go check out those other episodes. But are you able, like, did you set yourself up when we got to those last 90 days? Like, how are y'all doing? How are your businesses doing? Drop them in the comments, y'all. Tell us how you're doing. Are you enjoying your family, or are you stressing out? What is going on? Tonight is a really good topic for everybody in business, but I know this is going to be a really good one for us ladies out there in business because this is a hard one. We've all kind of dealt with it at some point. It can be crippling. It can be, I mean, just downright paralyzing, stopping you from being your best self. Fear of failing, right? Is there a reason that here we are, December 14th, and you running around like it's January 1st, that you got 364 days to crank it out, and you trying to do it in a couple of weeks before you hit the 31st? Like, will you be working December 31st when you're supposed to be toasting to a new year because you're afraid of not hitting this booming goal that you set for yourself during all the New Year's resolutions? We're going to talk about it. This is a good one. I'm sure we have so many avenues and places we're going to go. So before we get this thing started, I want to hear your fear of failures in the comments. Before we jump into anything, y'all, interact with us. We love it. Say hello. Let us know where you're from. We want to hear how you feel about failure. And this is going to be a good one. It's going to go into your life too, because generally how you act in your life with failure is probably translating into your business. So, ladies, let's do it. Fear of failure.
I like how Tameka said it might trickle into your business. They gave me a really stern talking to before we started this. Okay, so if I start crying, if I start laughing, that's just because I'm thinking about something that they said to me before we started this. I do not want to fail, and that is the thing that I'm afraid of, just failing in general. And Dayna so eloquently demonstrated before this how I should approach people when I'm meeting somebody new. Yeah, I'm 33 years old and I don't know how to talk to people. It's okay. But in doing that, she made it so easy. I can't do that. That scares the crap out of me because I feel like, okay, what if I say the wrong thing? What if they don't agree with what I'm saying? Or just, oh, this girl crazy. She just walked in off the street and asked for XYZ. I mean, why should I trust her? And that's the thing with me as a black woman. I feel like people have in the back of their minds. I don't know her. Can I trust her? Oh, well, she look like she's 12 years old anyway. How can I trust anything coming out of her mouth? I get that all the time, y'all. Because I'm a teacher and I work at the high school and they think I'm one of the kids. That's a whole nother thing. But just the fear of failing, I don't know. That goes back to the other episode when we talked about the balance and responsibility. Um, if people on the outside looking in on my household, my business, and all that type of stuff, well, she don't have her stuff together. It's just all the judgments that I have. I guess maybe for other people, I don't know. So maybe they would look at me like that. I don't know. Pray my strength because it's a work in progress. I'm trying.
Can I start with saying, first and foremost, when we say fear of failure, there is a positive and then there's a negative connotation to both. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to start with actually having a fear of failure can be a positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can I start there? Because, and the reason I want to say that is one of the things that keep us moving forward, keep us focused on, I got to keep going, is I don't want to fail.
Yeah.
right? So it can be a positive fueling for us.
Mhm.
I know for me, and if you didn't see like our intro in our first episode, I come from a foundation where this was not the norm, right?
Mhm.
So I remember having moments where, and please understand, this is one of my favorite humans on the planet. But my father coming to me, like, even when it came to like young living as a business, like, oh, that's so cute. You're still doing that? Right? Or me writing a book and be like, oh, that's so sweet. What, let me get a copy so I can support you, as if nobody else. But right, like it's all coming from love, right?
Right.
But it fuels me. I'm like, that's why I got to be on people's stages. That's
Mhm.
why I got to show that this is a legit business. This is
Mhm.
why, because if I don't, and if I fail, right, then it plays into their viewpoint of this structure of business, this
Mhm.
entrepreneurship journey that she's gone in. And so it can be a very positive thing to move you towards where you want to be. Okay.
Mhm.
The problem, I think, and it becomes negative, is if that's the only thing moving you, one, right? If you're only moving because you're so afraid, right? Then you're not enjoying the process, you're not enjoying the journey, you're not enjoying the ups and the downs and you're not navigating through that, right? Then that can be a problem, right?
Mhm.
Or I think it can also be a problem if you have this fear of failure and it's keeping you stagnant, which you're not moving, right?
Mhm.
You're like, well, I don't know what to do, so I'm gonna just do
Yeah.
nothing, just do nothing, right? And then you're not taking risks with your business. You're not investing in yourself. You're not doing the things that actually is going to move you forward. And then you get tired, you get burnt out, and you quit,
Mhm.
right? So I think that there's levels where it can be positive, it can be negative, and you just got to find which portions still fill me and which portions still allow me to work within what my passion is, what my mission is, what my vision is.
Yes. Yes, I love that. Bringing it. We like 5 minutes into this thing, and it is already like, y'all. We talked about this before. Don't trust motivation, but I know that right there was just like a lighter, right? You ready for January 1st, so you can be like, let me just get to getting right. This is one of my favorite topics. My youngest right now, we drive forever to get him to school. He goes to a magnet school, but we talk a lot. And like Andriana was saying, we was having a little conversation before this. We got started, kind of like pep each other up. And I've had the conversation with him a lot. Like, what's the worst that could happen? He's very methodical and in his head about a lot of things. He's my STEM baby. Well, both of my boys are very into like the math and all of that. But my mom was like, what's the worst that can happen? And I love, just talking with other women in business. We're all part of MIB. And so we have a lot of connections that span the whole globe. And I love having these conversations because, like Dayna said, for me, failure is positive. I mean, I take every knock, and I wasn't always like that. So don't think that like it's some baby beast that came out the womb, like, yeah, I'm gonna fail and get back up. Like, no, I didn't close some doors and cried and said I'm not going back out there, or didn't do the thing like Dayna said, because I was like, if I fail, everybody's gonna be talking about me, or people are gonna be laughing at me, or I'm this and that. I'm not Tameka if I fail, right? I'm gonna mess up the family name, like all of those crazy things you tell each other. But in maturity and really in reflection, I like welcome failure. We talked about what it meant in a lot of episodes back. Don't ask me the number, just go check the YouTube out. We will drop it in the link in the comments, link in the comments. But we talked about who should be a part of network marketing, who would fit in these industries, and I mentioned anybody afraid to fail, because you're going to fail, and you're going to fail a lot. You're going to fail a lot in life, and it's how you embrace it. And my favorite thing to say is, failure just teaches you one way not to do the thing. It's one way that, okay, that was wrong. Next, that didn't work for me. What's next? Don't abandon the whole thing because you only did it one way. There are a million other ways that you could possibly do what it is that you're doing, and you just found the way that didn't work. So let's tweak it. Let's tweak it. And I think it comes back from, and we talk a lot about how we've grown up, what we're taught. It comes, unfortunately, I grew up in the public school system, but an F is bad. And we out here trying to avoid F's. And F means failure. But I tell my children, I'm like, get the F. That tells you what you need to learn. It tells you that everything on that paper, you didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. Okay, well, today we learned 5 new things that we need to learn. We need to sit down and do the work. We failed today. Bravo. That's positive to me because that gives you a place to learn. We stop learning, then I feel like that's an assault because you should be growing and learning every single day. I really agree so much with Dayna. Like it's a mindset thing. It's a mindset work on how you view failure. And I know coming from our generations, we're all in our 30s, so we're growing up in the same generations, and failure is bad. Like people were like, "Oh, you failed," and it just was like it was like now catching COVID. Back it up. You failed, so you're the worst person on the planet. But anybody these billionaires out here, they're just like, yep, the first 900 didn't work. But guess what? 901, y'all made me $1 billion.
Yeah, I love that. I will say too, I think a huge factor a lot of times for all of us in failure is trauma and life experience. Mm-hmm. And when I say that is right, our brains are intelligent, right? Mm-hmm. And they're like, I want to protect you. I want to keep you safe. I don't want you to feel that experience that you felt before, right? So when it feels like you're going in that direction again, it's like, no. Remember last time we did this? It didn't work out. Don't do it. Don't do it. It didn't feel good, right? Mm-hmm. And the reality is sometimes that's a good thing, right? Because, back in the day, that's what kept us alive, right? Because we had that fear. But the problem now is if we don't grab a hold of that, we're going to still, even if we're not consciously doing it, start taking actions that are going to give us the results that our mind is forming will happen. And how I will frame that or kind of explain that is like when you think about, you're like, hey, I'm going to go into this dentist's office and I'm going to share with them my oral brand of Young Living because I know that this would benefit their patients, right? Well, your brain starts assessing, okay, what happened the last time I shared something? It could have even just been something small, like an oil with somebody. Okay, the last time you shared an oil with somebody, they were like, I'm allergic to oils. I don't want anything to do with it, right? And so your brain remembers that. And even though you said, I got the courage to do it, you walk in that dentistry office, what happens is your whole energy is aligned with what your mind believes, right? And so you walk in there and you say, hi, my name is Dayna. I know this is probably not something that you'll really want, but I wanted to share these products with you, right? You start, your verbiage starts tearing it down. Your body language is like, they're not going to really like this, right? And so what they pick up on is like, she's not serious about what she's not convinced.
Yeah.
She doesn't really know if this is what she wants to do. And so you get that no because you don't realize it, but your body language is your verbiage, the way you speak, your confidence comes off and it draws that no. And so we got to work on like that reprogramming, right?
Yeah.
If we ain't talked about it, oils and emotions. Okay, y'all. If you want to like start accepting something different, and oh, that's not my highest potential. I thought it was highest potential, but we're gonna pretend and live up to your highest potential, right? Start using your oils because that's what they do, right? They help to recreate patterns in the brain and stop you from doing some of the things that keep becoming a pattern, right? And so one of the things Andriana has said is, oh, I couldn't speak the way Dayna does confidently. I am terrified of people. Okay. I am terrified of people. I am terrified of people. But, and I will say this goes back to my upbringing. One of the things from a young age that I always heard from my daddy was the worst thing someone can do is say no.
No.
Always ask the question, because the worst thing they're going to do is say no. You will never know if you never ask the question. And so because that was instilled in me as a young age, I just asked. It might sound crazy when I come out of my mouth. I might be like saying all the wrong things, but I'm going to ask, right? Because to me, you can't say the right thing to the wrong person, and you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I first started kind of like building a business, and I remember I did all of this research. I was so excited because I was going to talk to this nurse, and I just wanted to make sure medically it made sense of what I was going to say. And I had all 12 of my oils out in the diffuser, and I was ready to pass her brochures and all this stuff. She walks in the door. She's like, "Yeah, I'll take one." I said, "What do you mean? I didn't talk about anything." She's like, "Well, what are you selling?" I said, "Well, it's the premium starter kit, but I got to tell you about what pepper." She's like, "I don't care. Just how much is it?" And I was like, "Well, it's $165, but I didn't tell you about all of the things that I researched that I needed to tell you." And she's like, "I don't have time. I got to go to work. Here's my card. Do I take this one or do I get it from you later?" Right? But energetically, I was ready to make this work for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dayna, it's funny that you said that about your brain. Like it was designed, like that's why we have fight or flight, right? Or you might freeze too, but you're gonna do one of the other things, right? And I know, within my VIP community this month just gone, we're doing a lot of work, and in fact all my groups, we're talking about dealing with your adrenals and the messages that you're sending, because fight or flight is real. That's what Dayna's, like she said, your brain is meant to protect you, right? How many parents out there was like, "No, let them do it. You gotta learn. Sometimes you gotta burn your hand to know not to touch the dang on thing, because I told you 3 or 4 times," right? And then you remember, nope, the last time that made me burn my finger and I was crying for 3 days. But those nuances, those intricacies that we were meant to have for protection before, we had houses that didn't get blown over when there was a huge gust of wind, right? Now it's creating false stories. Like Dayna said, you're now creating a story about somebody. Well, she doesn't like me because she didn't hit like on the post. So I feel like even though she just said, "Who sells oils? I heard about this and I need some help," she's not going to get it from me though. Because she didn't like your post. Now your brain is like, "I got to protect you. Lord Jesus, we had to do 2 weeks of therapy because you was hurt by this. I've got to protect you." You're telling yourself a false story, but what are you missing out on? I love that too. Like, the worst that can happen to you is no. The worst thing that's going to happen by you putting on the skates is you're going to bust your butt. I'm going to laugh at you, but I'm going to pick you up too. Like, that's the worst thing that's going to happen. I mean, how many people here are running their businesses, do online, went to hit live and didn't do it because you were afraid there would be, in the little eye circle, there'd be nobody watching, or you're afraid that a troll would jump on and start saying random things, or somebody would jump on and test your gangster about your knowledge. Like, how many people didn't do it?
Right.
And what did you miss? Like, I mean, on Instagram, it tells you 500 of your friends are online, but you ran away because of a story that you don't know that that's not true.
No, note to self: never go skating with Tameka because she's.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I am
That's what
that
she
friend.
said.
I'm gonna laugh.
Wait a minute.
I'm gonna laugh, but while I'm laughing, I'm gonna pick you up. I'm sorry. That is just like I say. I mean, if you've ever caught, go and follow all of us. Our tags are right here. Our handles are right here. But if you catch me live, I probably laugh about 50 times, and it's not nothing be funny. I just be laughing. I don't know.
Look, I'm trying to coerce these two to come to Detroit and visit me in April. What's not on the agenda is skating. Okay.
Well, I just want to say with these two ladies, I feel like they are like a glass is half full. I don't have that type of personality. The glass is half empty, and I need to figure out how to fill it back up. Okay. And the fear of failure has always been negative to me. I've never looked at it as like a positive thing. So, with all that being said, I am like with it with the Lord and all that type of stuff. So it was just brought to my remembrance that hey, you're supposed to renew your mind every day. I ain't been doing it. This is December 14th, year almost over with. I ain't spent no time with Jesus. And I'm looking at this like, yeah, you're right. I ain't renewed my mind. That's why I'm playing all this craziness in my head and not going out doing what I need to do. And then I'm looking at it, well, this ain't working. And y'all have probably heard me say so many times, I've been wanting to quit my job, my business, my own business 15 times already this year because it's just not working out for me.
Yeah.
It's my fault. So if you are like that out there in the comments, don't quit. Stick with it. Renew your mind every day. Get your mindset right. Get with somebody like, I feel like these two ladies here are like my best friends. I can talk to them about anything. I'm sorry if I grew up with you. I don't know you no more. I'm sorry. But I feel like these are my people and they get me right all the time. Like I treat these episodes as like an extra training to get my mindset right because they talk to me all the time. But anyway, yeah, just renew your mind and the fear of failure. I've never thought about it as a positive thing. So thank y'all for that. Y'all taught me something today.
I will say, okay, so just to kind of add on to that, like one of my biggest tips would be redefine how you view failure. Yes. And I really, really feel like there's certain things that like, so, and I know there's tons of quotes around this or whatever, but instead of failure, look at it as feedback, right? What feedback am I getting, right? Is the feedback that ain't working, you shouldn't do that. Or is it could just be you're doing it in the wrong space, right? There's so many times where you might be posting something like crazy and you actually need to like leave your home and talk to an actual human about it, right? So feedback, right? The other one, a lesson. What lesson are you supposed to learn, right? It's what is the saying? It's insane to do the same thing over and over and expect different results. So
definition of insanity, y'all. Stop doing it.
I'm insane over here. I'm insane.
So that might be just what you needed to realize I need to learn a lesson. I need to make adjustments. I need to change a little bit in where I'm going. The other thing I think is a fleeting situation. So when you think about sometimes failure, sometimes it's like the path you were going on was not going to get you to your destination. And what you're doing is fleeting.
Yes.
Okay. It's fleeting, right? And I know I'm guilty of this one. I know I'm guilty because if my mind is set on this is how I'm supposed to go in this direction, right? Like you can't tell me nothing else. I'm like, no, this is where I'm supposed to be. But then you're getting all of these signs and like the heavens are opening up like, girl, no, it's over, ma'am. But you want to be stubborn, right? And you want to be like, but I've been doing it this way for so long. Like, this is where I'm going, right? And then you're like, I don't know why I'm failing. You're failing because every sign on the planet has told you to stop it. and go this way, and yet you want to be stubborn and keep going this way.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I think it's your fault or my fault.
Yes, if girl, listen, if my husband's watching, he's probably like, I don't know what she laughing for, because I'm that is like you like Andriana said, you are speaking to me. It's funny because I'm sure a lot of y'all out there watching was like, no, she didn't, because you were sitting over there too. Like when somebody gives you a suggestion and you're like, no, because that's not what I want to do. Even if that little piece of your heart was like, ooh, that was really good. Like, can I use that? But you're so afraid that if I switch it up, or I'm so afraid to admit to myself that that's not the, like Dayna said it, feedback. You cannot be afraid of feedback because it could help you. Like Dayna said, it could be a flashing sign, dead end. And you like, well, I'm gonna find out anyway. I'm gonna find out. Okay, well then find out, but don't sit in there. And that's a tip that I guess I want to put out there too. It's coming. We have alluded to it a lot in the past, and I know that for me, it literally changed my life. Dayna's gonna come and talk expressly to us women folks, about your cycle and your life. She's gonna change your life, so don't miss it. But it's okay to sit with it, because I think a lot of times that something bad will happen. It's not just for business, this personal life, like it's okay. It is normal to feel all of the things that you're going to feel about said failure. Like, I'm not saying because I can look at failure as a positive thing. Okay, like Dayna said, you may need to reevaluate your audience. Maybe you talking to the wrong people. You think that you need to be talking to moms when really you talking to single ladies, because that hasn't happened to a mama, or it's not happening to a mama, or maybe it's not women at all. Maybe you're talking to men because you have an experience for whatever. You're an athlete, you're a weightlifter, and you got power jives, and you got a beautiful story for that. I use it, but not all women do. So maybe you have a different audience you need to reevaluate. But it is absolutely okay to sit in that place and feel all the things. I think a lot of times with failure, when we're looking at it as that hard thing, we're like, but if I accept it, if I do like Dayna's saying and listen to the big boom that just went off and told me to stop the foolishness, I have to feel it. And I'm afraid to feel the fact that I failed. Mm-hmm. It's okay. It's normal. We have all failed. I have fallen on my butt and laughed about it, not immediately, but 5 years later, because I can see what it was then. And I'm not saying that you'll feel it right. It's okay. Sit with it. Mm-hmm. Cry. We was on a networking event. It was Andriana's networking event. And I'm a crier, and I've never had a problem with crying, but people around me, don't call them names, it bothers them. But it's always felt good to cry. And I can't remember the lady's name. Andriana will be able to tell y'all. But she was like crying. She was talking about grief. Crying is cleansing. You're literally cleansing yourself of all the things. So if you are a boo-hooer, boo-hoo, baby. Boo-hoo, release the thing. Feel it. It's okay. It's normal. But then pick yourself back up and keep going. And you will see the positive. I think that's my thing, is feel it. Feel it, feel it, feel it. Because, I mean, if you can't pretend like it didn't happen.
Right.
It happened. So we can learn from it, or you can hide from it, and then, which is probably going to stop you from moving forward.
Yeah. I love that. I love that too. I think one of the last things that I'll like also just leave people with and just think about it is a lot of times too, that fear of failure is connected to how you view yourself. Mm. And so I do feel like there's a level of self-love that you might need to work on from within. And there's a level, and I'm not talking like, let me be super clear on this. So like, I'm not talking that like and for lack of better word, I will say that fake facade where you're like, I'm gonna wake up every morning and I'm gonna talk in the mirror and I'm gonna tell myself that you are amazing and you're the most wonderful. I'm not really talking just about that. I know that works for some people. That's not a me thing. I think it's weird to talk to myself in a mirror, but like I get it that there is some psychological things that are, legit with that. But what I really, really mean by that is like honestly assess and say, hey, these are my positive qualities, right? This is what makes me who I am. It makes me unique to whatever my field is, whatever my experience is, right? Like, so for instance, all three of us have completely different like backgrounds when it comes to business, right?
Yeah.
We have completely different niches in our business, right? And so that doesn't make either one of us better than the other. But if you ask me something about a doggone baby, like other than me handing you a gentle baby book, or you know what I mean, other than me Googling or knowing, okay, well, this is what I use when my kid was teething, you know what I mean? That wouldn't be what I teach on. That wouldn't be where I start. My kids are 13 and 8. You know what I mean? So if I'm talking about some baby stuff, y'all gonna be like, okay, right?
Yeah.
And I know even for me, I post my kids, don't nobody care but me, right? So you gotta know too that my strength is in this, and that's a positive thing. Write that down. Remind yourself of those things, right? Because that's gonna automatically boost your self-esteem. You're gonna feel more confident because you know I can talk about hair, skin, and nails with my eyes closed, right? And so I know more than this, spa owner that I'm walking into and I want to share my business with them, right? So think about your own self-esteem. How can you boost that? How can you be positive when you're thinking about yourself?
Yes, I think that is, if you have to create a resolution for this upcoming year in the next couple of weeks, let it be that you, whatever time of day that you pick to sit down, because I was going to say first thing in the morning, but realistically, I know that ain't it. But if that's the case, I'm just going to say that in the morning. But whenever you pick those 5 minutes to yourself, when you have that real me time, write down the things that make you, the things that what is your area of genius? Because that had my mind spinning like, you know what? A lot too could be that fear circles around the fact that you may not really know who you are anymore. You may not know, you've lost yourself from somewhere. And it happened to me. But take it head on. Yes, pick up that to dig deep and just find 5 things about yourself. Start out small if you have to. 2 things and build yourself up, because it can be crippling or it can be positive, and it is all about how you choose in the moment to look at it. And it's going to have to be a habit for you to do it consistently, intentionally every single day. It takes work. It don't happen overnight, y'all. It does not. All right. Listen, every Wednesday, I can't believe it. We are coming to the end of 2022, 2023. These next 2 episodes coming up are amazing. Listen, I think all of our episodes have been great. We're going to drop it in the comments. I know that realistically you all can't be here every single Wednesday live. We would love for you to be. We love to interact with you. Share with all of your homegirls and your homeboys too. Share it away. But if you cannot catch us live and you want to catch something back, or we pointed out an episode that could serve you well, go ahead over to our YouTube channel, click on that episode, watch it, follow, like, subscribe. I don't know what all the little buttons are, but click all the buttons so that you get the bell. Click the bell so you get the notifications and you do not miss a single thing from us. But if there was one episode, ladies, specifically, I'm talking to you. If there was one episode that I said before 2022 rings out that you had to catch, it is this next episode coming up talking about your cycle and life and business. This should be taught to not only girls, but boys. So bring your husbands. Everybody needs to hear this. It's going to change your life. Do not miss us next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 5 Central, because we will be back with one that is going to change your life. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and we will see you next week.